Hello everyone. So today we're going to be walking you through how to set up Sylos with Google Drive. By default, right out of the box, it is not directly supported in the sense of you being able to just click and sign into Google Drive. You're going to have to set up a little developer app, but it's very, very straightforward, or at least it's very simple. I wouldn't say it's straightforward because you kind of would have to know what to do, but that's what this tutorial is for. It's not too hard. I really don't want you to worry too much. It's very straightforward. We'll just walk through it slowly together. But first, we're going to go ahead and set up our Sylos account, so it's pretty easy. So we'll just set up our username, password, whatever you want here. Just make sure you don't forget what it is. We're going to go ahead and click Create. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard, and I will go ahead real quick and just save my recovery code just in case here. I would recommend saving that to your password managers or whatever you're using. Okay, so when you log in, you'll be greeted with this screen, of course, or something very similar, maybe, depending on my iterations. So you'll go ahead and open this little bar here. You don't really have to. Technically, you can just click the buttons without it, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. So we're going to go ahead and click here. We're going to click on Settings, and then you can edit your theme, whatever you want to do. But eventually, you're going to come down here, and you're going to see where it says Cloud Providers. And you don't have to worry about the scan interval or anything just yet. I would just focus on just this row here that says Google Drive. So we need to go ahead and set that up. So let's go ahead and click the little pencil icon here. And it's going to open up this page. And we're just going to pause on this page for right now. Don't worry about the redirect URI. Don't worry about any of this. But we're just going to pause here, and I'm just going to leave this tab open. So now let's go ahead and open up a new tab here. And let's go to console.cloud.google.com. It's a lot, but it will take you there. You may be prompted to sign into Google here. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and sign in. You will need an account, but it can be a free account. You don't have to, have anything crazy. Of course, if you're trying to migrate from or to Google Drive, you're going to need an account anyway, so whatever. So go ahead and sign in, preferably whatever. It doesn't actually matter what account you sign in with. Just go ahead and sign in. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to go ahead and create a project. I'm actually already in a project, but you would probably be prompted to create a project at some point. So let's go ahead and just go through that page here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a project here. We're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click Create. I don't actually need to browse for any organization, at least for me. For you, probably not either. If you're doing this at a company and you want to set this up for your company, you might do a few things differently than what I'm doing. So anyway, let's go ahead and create. Okay, now once we've created, you can ignore that and just don't worry about it saying create. Just wait until this is done. And then if you're not already in that project, which you should be, just go ahead and switch to it. But either way, if you get stuck, Google does have a little AI that might be able to help you. What we're doing is pretty straightforward, but I wouldn't waste too much time trying to go back and forth with the API, with the AI on it. I mean, it might be able to help you, but either way. Okay, so we're going to click API and Services, but if you don't see this button here, you can actually find it here. If you go to this little hamburger thingy, and you can go here, and you can go to API and Services, and then you can click here, and this is where we're going to want to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So basically, we're going to click API and Services. We're going to go to the first tab here, and you're going to see a bunch of stuff, and you don't have to worry about the vast majority of this. I will say that Google Cloud, just as a quick note, Google Cloud is meant for much more complicated, much more technical workflows than what we're doing right now. It looks very crazy. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Do not worry about it. Really do not worry about it. It is honestly, it is so vast. I do not have any time to explain all of everything that's in here, but you don't have to worry about any of this. So I'll just walk you through exactly what you need. So once you get to this page, click on Enable API and Services. And we'll just wait a second. Okay, so you're going to see a bunch of different stuff, but we don't have to worry about the vast majority of this. So you're going to type in Google Drive API. It's going to go ahead and suggest one to you. You're going to click that or hit enter or whatever. Then you're going to find all these search results. You really only care about the one that says Google Drive API. So that's the only one you care about. You don't need literally anything else. And then you're just going to go ahead and click Enable to enable this API on your project. And then it might take a second, but it should eventually reload the page and we'll get us back here. Okay. One thing worth noting, and this will come up a little bit later, every time Sylos makes a request to your file system, like listing out your drives, listing out your folders, downloading a file, uploading a file, all that stuff from the Sylos application, you will see all of that here, and you will see like how much of your quote-unquote quota that you're using and things like that. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Google gives you some pretty big quotas for these things, so don't worry too much about it. But just if you're curious, you can keep kind of poking around in here once you start playing around with it more. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to set up the OAuth consent screen, because we would go to credentials, but Google actually pushes you to set up the consent screen first. So we have to do that first. So we're going to go ahead and click on Get Started here. And we're on the overview page, just in case you aren't following. You can give it any name, basically, but I'm just going to go ahead and give it my test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 name. I'm going to give it my email I've got already signed in here. We're going to go ahead and click External. On Audience, you do want to click External. You can't actually select Internal because you are probably not in a workspace. If you are in a workspace, I think it would be okay to use internal. I've not personally tested it, but we're going to go ahead and do external. Don't worry though, because it's only available to test users, and we'll cover that in another section here soon. So you're not actually like opening it up to the public or anything, so don't worry about that. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and click external. We're going to type in an email. I'm just going to go ahead and use the same email that I used in the previous example here. And then we're going to go ahead and click Finish, and I agree. And then we'll click Create. Okay, so once that's done, now we actually need to set up our OAuth clients for this. So we're going to go ahead and click Create OAuth Client. And for application type, what you're going to want to do is click on Desktop App. Don't worry about any of the other options. You don't have to, you can give it literally any name. It really doesn't matter. And then just create. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy your, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy your OAuth client. Why did it not give me my client secret? Okay, interesting. I think Google might know that I'm recording my screen, so that might be why. But if you can't find your client secret, just click on the little pencil icon here. You can also download this. You can download it into a what's called a JSON format. It's like a little, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to super non-technical people, but you can download it to a file if you really want to. Just make sure you keep that file really secure somewhere, hidden away from people so that they don't have access to your tokens here. But anyway, we're just going to, you can triple click this to copy it, or triple click to highlight, sorry, and then hit Control C or Command C if you're on Mac. And then you can copy, we're going to want to, Jesus, get my words out here. We're going to want to get the client ID that we just pasted. So we want this client ID field, and then we want the secret, but you can't do the same trick here. You're going to have to click the copy button here. And then we're going to go ahead and click on Save Credentials here. And don't worry about saving it. It's not a username or a password, so don't worry about that. You'll notice it says status healthy, but just in case, let's go ahead and click the test button. And it looks like it passed the connection test. But we're not quite done yet, because there is one more thing we have to do. So let's go ahead. We don't have to save our changes. We can just cancel. But one thing that we need to do is we need to go over to data access, because we've created our app, but we haven't given the app any permission to access anything. So we have to go ahead and click Add Scope here, and you can browse through all of it, but it might be quicker just to search it. But essentially, this is what we need. We need auth drive. This is what we need. Now, this is a pretty, like, how do I explain this? If you give it this access, it will have access to all of your files and everything that you would consent to when the user grants access. So it is quite a powerful consent, but just know that you're not granting me access. You're granting yourself access, just so you know. So anyway, let's go ahead and click on save here. Okay. Now, there's one final thing we need to do. We need to go over to audience here. And notice we haven't published our app. That's totally fine. We're still in the testing phase. Remember, we're set to external, but it's not published, so nobody can access your app. Nobody can search for it. Nobody can do anything. It's all completely internal. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a test user, and you're going to want to add, this is specific to whatever email address is tied to whatever Gmail is tied to whatever like drive you're trying to access. So in my case, if I want to access the files on my particular Google Drive, then I need to grant my own email access. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is the email that I want of the drive that I want to access. So I'm going to click save. I will show you why that's important here basically right now. So with all of this done, we are pretty much done with everything we need to do in Google Drive Console basically, or Google Cloud Console. So let's go ahead and exit. We already saved our changes here, so let's go ahead and start a new migration. I apologize, this is a bug that I've noticed where for some reason it doesn't actually show all the services, but if you refresh after you add your provider, it does. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm gonna fix it. It's just one of those like super tiny little bugs that just haunts me sometimes. It's a very small, quick thing. It's not too big of an issue, but by the time you're doing this, it'll probably be fixed. I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so there's also Dropbox and a few others. We haven't set those up yet. You can do these two pretty much by default, but Dropbox also has to go through a similar workflow. Basically, any cloud service like OneDrive, SharePoint, Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, you know, all these will probably require a similar workflow. But either way, it's not too complicated once you know where to go, and we'll create articles on all of these. Okay, all right, let's get moving. So we're going to go ahead and click Google Drive here, and you could select it as your destination too, depending on where you're trying to move to or from. In this case, I'm going to be moving things off of Google Drive, so I'm going to select it as my source account. It's going to say click to sign in, so we're going to go ahead and click to sign in. Don't worry about the text before that. Now, this looks weird, because this is the name that I gave my app, so that's why it's saying to continue to test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you could have named it anything, so that's what it's going to show there. This is the account that I want to sign in with on Google Drive, so that I know which Google Drive to attach to, if that makes sense. You might have multiple there. This is saying that Google hasn't verified this app. It's not talking about Sylos, it's talking about your app that you just now created. Google hasn't verified it. Google doesn't know if it's secure. But remember, you're just using your own app to access your own data. So there's nothing like, you don't have to worry about any kind of security things there. Okay, so let's go ahead and click continue here. And then this is telling it, this is the test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing again. This is the name of that app. So if you wanted to read more fancy, you might want to give it an actual name, but just so you know. But this is saying it's going to allow access to all those things. And remember, if you remember closely when we clicked to add the scopes a second ago, that's where we said we want access to your drive. That's why this matters here. But the other thing, what I mentioned before about the test user, the reason I had to add the test user is because if I tried to go back and tried to sign in with my other Gmail, it's not going to work. As a matter of fact, I'll just show you that when we get to that point. But let's go ahead and click continue. I'm okay. Yeah, it's okay if it accesses my stuff. So now you can access different things. You can access your shared drive. Actually, I'm still working on that, so my bad. But you can definitely access your main drive. And then you can just grab whatever you need here. And you can select a specific folder if you want. You can go here and do all that. I'm just going to say move everything. But let me show you what happens if you try to sign in with a different Google Drive, like Gmail account that you, or I guess a different Google account that you haven't added to your test user. So this is just one random, I just made some random emails for this. But this is just a random email I made with some fun names. So this one here, if I try to access it, it's going to tell me that I'm not a test user. Right here, access blocked. It's not completed the Google verification process. And so this is Google themselves, Google the company, saying, no, sorry, you're not allowed to use this app because you're not an approved tester by the developer. In this case, the developer is you. So you didn't approve yourself, in this case, to be a verified, like, early access tester to this app is kind of what this error is saying. So don't worry about it. It just means you have to go back to console.cloud.google.com if you're seeing that error. And you just have to go to your, I'm already in that project. Okay. You just have to go back to API and services and then go to the OAuth consent screen. And then you just have to click on audience and add yourself as a test user. I'm clicking too fast that my computer / Google can't keep up. But basically you just go back to audience, and then that was the other email that I created for this tutorial that I added. So if I wanted to add this guy, I can go in and I can add this other random email. There we go. And we'll just click on save. I'm clicking too fast. Ineligible. Not associated with a Google account. Oh, that's interesting. Wait, why? Okay, I don't know. Let's just try it because it said that it didn't work, but I just want to try it. So let's go ahead and select our destination. And I'm just curious. Oh, yeah, it seems like it's okay. That was a glitch on Google's side, I guess, because it worked. Like, it added it and everything. Okay, so now I can move everything over to this drive if I want to. So this is a way that you could transfer data between two Google accounts. You'd have to add them to your test user. But I'm not going to go through all this because I don't want to actually move all my data over from this one random test to this other random test. But that's the basics of how this works. That's the basics of it. I don't have time to go into everything because there's so much more I could cover. But that's it. That's all you got to do. If you're interested, I made a whole article about this, so you can read it in text form when I'm not talking so fast and flipping through pages super quick. If you'd rather read it in text form and go through each step one by one, I created it on the Sylos repository here under the wiki. And you can click on this page here, and it will actually show you screenshots of every single step that we did today. And it will show you exactly how to do all of this with notes and various little things here. Please note that the UI of, I'm speaking in jargon terms. User interface is what UI stands for. The user interface of the application of Sylos is constantly changing, kind of-ish. It's still under development. So there might be some things that differ, but the majority of the process should stay the same. Also, I didn't cover the redirect URI. You don't really have to worry too much about that for you guys. But if you are creating a different port, you can set it up to be on a different port. And so if you're very IT oriented, you can kind of fiddle with that if you want. But for most people, you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to shut up. We're going to keep it super short and sweet, kind of-ish. So if you have any questions, feel free to go to the Sylos repository and go to the issues and let me know if, post an issue, whatever. And you can tell me what problems you're having or comment on this video maybe. And, we'll try to help you out. Okay, awesome. Well, I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching today.